Hi, Lynn Christian from SoulSalt Inc. And most of you know that I support the entrepreneur and the creative class, the people who want to earn a living and live their lives by doing what inspires them. And today I want to take you on a field trip to iris piercing. Jesse Dobbs is a young entrepreneur who had the vision for doing things a little bit differently with piercing. Now, what he suggests is that you have fun and you have this unique customer experience when you walk in the door. And part of that can be seen in a sample of one of their business cards, where they use the initial Obama campaign to forge this design on their business cards. He just wanted to have fun. Another sample is the entire client care package. When you leave Iris after a piercing, you have this little care brochure that tells you how to take care of your piercing once you've left the studio. Jesse's always looking for things that enlighten and enlarge the vision and the experience of his clients. Let's go to the studio today. Let's take that field trip and see what's new at Iris Piercing in Salt Lake and see how this increases the fun and the overall experience of the clients. Come with me. So this is James. He works here at Iris, and he's going to show us the newest addition for the client experience, which are these iPads. James, show us how this works.
Yeah, so essentially the idea was to move from paper to a paperless form. When a client comes in and wants a piercing, they'll be greeted by either one of the gallery assistants or the piercer, and they'll be brought over, and this is our new format for taking paperwork. Essentially, it's the exact same document as before. Yep, and so the way it'll work is instead of photocopying IDs or anything, you press on that, and it'll bring up the camera option, and you would place the ID behind, focus in on it, take a picture, and then you use that, and that's how we document that. We'll check the person's ID, verify their age and their identity. The rest of it is all very similar to anything you use with an iPad, just touch screen. So we can press on, select whichever piercer is doing the piercing. We have a whole list of different piercings as well as a custom one. So if they're doing something different, we can physically enter in, the person's doing, a snug piercing that wasn't on the list. So we have that. They're able to enter their information in, saying, Jessica is getting pierced by James, she's getting her snug. They simply touch yes or no. At that point, once they're done with the paperwork, they flip over to the other side, enter their information. Probably the most fun, unique part of it is signing. You press the pencil and just use your finger to sign that.
Besides the paperless effort here, it looks like you have some of the gallery pieces on here too.
We do have some of the gallery pieces on display, so when you aren't using the iPads, we show that. One of the other really fun things for us is that because our iPads and they're connected to Wi-Fi, you can see we've sent pictures back and forth between the two studios, but we're also able to use FaceTime on the iPads. So if a client came in requesting a specific piece of jewelry and we didn't have it and called Denver and found out that they had that piece, we could literally pull it up on FaceTime and the client could view it in Denver, seeing the piece via the iPads, and then they can overnight it to us. So there's also the functionality of just the jewelry side of the client that wants very specific styles of jewelry. We're able to utilize them in ways that are more functional and visually appealing for clients than before, when it was just kind of, use your imagination and look through a catalog. You can see the guys in Denver actually showing you jewelry and stuff. They're fun. Everyone's getting a kick out of them too, and seeing oh wow, this is really different, because most studios, they still operate on paper and taking IDs and filling it out. So it's definitely a more unique factor to the Iris experience.
It is. So in talking with James here and how he became employed at Iris, I discovered there was a really great story that's not only a terrific story, it's a testimonial of the type of quality of jewelry and this type of studio that we have here in Salt Lake. So James, tell us your story.
Yeah, so I was on the road, it was almost a year ago. I was on the road traveling for a jewelry company based out of Seattle, and my last stop was here in Salt Lake, and we just hit it off all together. And what I was doing was basically selling several of the pieces of jewelry that you find in the cases with this company. And in talking with that, the nice thing with Iris is that when it was started with Jesse and Dustin, the mentality was to offer people the best quality and best service they could offer in Salt Lake City. And so what you'll find is everything from single flare glass plugs that clients are able to use to stretch their earlobes, to have that larger stretch gear that's really popular, but it's incredibly cost effective but also incredibly safe. It's the safest material. All the way to incredibly ornate pieces of jewelry that are all handcrafted, 14 karat gold, Lynn referenced earlier, wood, bone, natural materials. Very exotic pieces that will create quite a diverse range of jewelry in terms of price, aesthetic, and idea behind what a client is looking for. And the mentality of Iris was to offer the simplest way of getting a piercing that was the best possible one with the best possible jewelry in whatever price demographic it was offered for you. So Iris has always been a place that strived to give clients the absolute best with whatever they had to work with. And that's the really fun thing about working here at Iris.